my name is Marcello and I want to welcome you to the Source Audio Video Design Group's YouTube channel. On this channel we will discuss home audio and video, personal audio, home theater, home automation, and speak with some of the movers and shakers in the music and hi-fi industry. So please consider subscribing today to show your support and ring the bell icon to get notified of future live streams and videos. Today I will share my impressions on the headphone from Heinz Electrodynamic Designs, otherwise known as HEDD. This video will focus on the build quality, design, and sound impressions about the headphone. Subscribe today for more videos on other personal audio products. The headphone is the first full-range air motion transformer headphone to use an electrodynamic transducer that allows air movement significantly faster than most common voice coil, planar magnetic, or electrostatic systems, using a folded diaphragm that squeezes out air extremely fast. Starting first with a build, the HEDD is an open over-ear headphone handcrafted in Berlin, Germany. They have an efficiency rating of 87 dB per 1 milliwatt and an impedance of 42 ohms. To truly appreciate the headphone, you will want an adequately powered headphone amplifier that can deliver plenty of current. The headphone weighs around 718 grams and uses 4-pin mini XLR connectors. They include a 2-year manufacturer warranty from the original date of purchase when purchased from an authorized dealer. The headphone is on the heavier side when compared to many other headphones. They also have a bit more clamp force by design to relieve some of the weight. One of my suggestions for my personal preferences and medium-sized head for potential future iterations of the headphone would be to find a way to reduce the weight and the clamping force. Although many headphone owners I have spoken with are unbothered by the weight and the clamp, this will come down to personal preference. The headband is pretty easy to adjust, and I found myself changing it a click or two down on each side. The headphone feels well built using aluminum, plastic, and synthetic leather materials. The pads are very large and help to relieve some of the weight. Overall, the headphone is more enjoyable to listen to in a very comfortable chair, slightly leaned back, with good head and neck support. Okay, let's get into my favorite part of the headphone, the quality of sound. When properly paired up with the right amp, the headphone sounds excellent, especially for their asking price. I utilize the Core TT2, Ulong Audio DA1 with external power supply, the Macintosh MHA200 with Amprix input tubes, and the Amps & Sound Agartha with Western Electric 300B power tubes. Sylvania Blackplate 6SL7 paired with a Cord Hugo 2 to go combo as its DAC for most of my sound impressions. I also use two similarly priced headphones, a Sennheiser HD800S and Focal Clear MG, as references for others to compare my sound impressions of the headphone. When listening to the headphone, if your amplifier delivers more power and current from the balanced output, you will want to use it, as the headphone sounds its best with more power and current delivery. Bass on the headphone has some rumble in the lower bass frequencies. The bass is tight and well defined, especially when paired with the TT2. It may not fully compete with some other planar magnetic headphones at this tier, but it still sounds excellent. Some users may want to pair the headphone with an amp that is a touch warmer in the lower end for some modern genres of music such as pop, rock, and electronic. You could also use tone control or EQ to layer more energy in those regions if you desire. Listening to Take My Breath from The Weeknd and comparing the bass of the headphone versus the HD800S, the bass sounds anemic from the Sennheisers versus the headphone. While the detail in the bass is decent from the HD800S, the overall quantity or lack thereof makes the HD800S a more genre-specific headphone for my preferences. When comparing the headphone to the Clear MG, the Clear sounds like it has more prominent mid-bass energy. The Clear MG doesn't sound as well defined as the headphone, and the headphone reaches lower in the sub-bass region, which is a plus. Of the three headphones, I prefer the accuracy, information, and balance of the bass regions from the HEDD for most genres of music when they are receiving proper current. The mid-range of the headphone is very detailed, fast, with an open organic sound, with vocals and instruments sounding excellent. I don't hear any issues in the upper mid-range that would make this headphone a fatiguing listen. If you prioritize a bit more relaxed upper mid-range and a natural timbre from strings and vocals, the headphone makes for a terrific listening experience. Compared to the HD800S, there is a noticeable increase in the upper mid-range and lower treble region energy on the HD800S, giving it a sharper, crisp sound, especially with strings. I think many listeners will enjoy the smoother presentation of the headphone, and other listeners may prefer the HD800S depending on their preferences, source components, and amplification. For my preferences, I like the HEDD's mid-range. When comparing to the Clear MG, the mid-range of the Clear sounds very rich tonally. However, there is a bit of bleed from the bass regions into the mid-range and a bit less upper mid-range, lower treble energy, which can take a bit of the definition away from the mid-range, with my preference again landing with the headphone. The cello sounds extremely beautiful from the headphone, and Yo-Yo Ma's prelude from the Six Evolutions Bach album was stunning to listen to. The piano is another instrument that sounds so beautiful from the headphone. I never got tired of listening to Chopin or Nils Fromm through the headphone. Treble on the head is one of their greatest strengths. There is a terrific sense of air with no sibilance. Treble-sensitive individuals shouldn't be offended by the treble presentation of the headphone. Treble is class-leading at this price tier compared to many other headphones I have heard. I again preferred the treble presentation of the headphone over the brighter-sounding HEDD and the slightly darker-sounding Clear MG. The dynamics of the headphone are decent. There isn't a ton of punch or slam if you prioritize this. However, compared to the HEDD, which isn't very dynamic sounding, the headphone sounds to have a bit more punch when adequately amped. Comparing the headphone to the Clear MG, and the Clear clearly outpunches the headphone. This should come as no surprise, as punch and dynamics are one of Focal's greatest strengths. The timbre of the headphone is very good for acoustic instruments, classical, piano strings, orchestral compositions, pop, rock, and other more modern genres of music as well. Although I felt for the modern music genres such as pop and electronic music, they can benefit from an amplifier and DAC with a bit more mid-bass energy for my preferences, or a simple adjustment with EQ or tone control. The soundstage of the headphone is very good, with good separation and sound imaging. The head has a larger lateral side-to-side quality that sounds very believable to its soundstage. The depth of the stage is not as large as the lateral size, but still very enjoyable. When comparing to the Clear MG I felt imaged very precisely. However, the stage of the Clear sounds more congested and more intimate than the headphone soundstage. Comparing the soundstage of the headphone to the HD800S, and the Sennheiser has the larger sounding soundstage. The HD800S have a more expansive lateral quality to the stage, more depth, and more precise imaging definition. However, the soundstage of the HD800S can come across as a bit exaggerated with some recordings when compared to the headphone. So this is a toss-up for me, as I enjoy the soundstage of both headphones. However, the anemic bass of the HD800S can take away from some recordings, even if it does give a broader, more defined soundstage. As far as synergistic pairings with the headphone, one of my favorite pairings is the Cord TT2. This pairing offers precision, more depth to the headphone soundstage, and ample current, providing more punch and slam than some of the other amplifiers I paired them with. Another pairing I enjoy is the Amps & Sound Agartha paired with a headphone and the WE300B tubes. This pairing gave me an even sweeter mid-range, excellent holographic qualities to the music, and beautiful tonality from strings and vocals. The pairing of the Yulong DA1 was also very good, with a very natural analog sound when matched up with a headphone. While it may not sound quite as dynamic and defined as the Cord TT2, it comes close to the performance of the TT2 overall when listening from the balanced output, with just a different flavor to the sound that you will find with AKM DACs and Class A topology amplifiers. Finally, the headphone paired well with the MHA200. I felt it sounded a bit less dynamic, especially with modern music such as pop or electronic, than the other amplifiers I listened to the headphone with. However, the soundstage, detail, and timbre are a superb match in my opinion with the MHA200. I enjoyed many genres of music with this pairing, such as classical, jazz, acoustic rock, and new age music. The head's quality of sound and resolution is excellent when you consider the price savings versus some highly regarded planar magnetic headphones. I compared the headphone for fun to the flagship Audeze LCD5 and the Final Audio D8000 and found myself quite impressed overall with the head. Even though the headphone is not at the same technical level of performance as either of those planar magnetic headphones, the head still provided a gratifying sound experience for much less money. My only actual suggestions for the headphone for my preferences would be to reduce the overall weight and clamp force. From a sound perspective, I wish it was a bit punchier sounding for my personal preferences and the amount of pop and electronic music I listen to. In conclusion, the headphone from Heinz Electrodynamic Designs sounds amazing when adequately paired with a powerful high current headphone amp and a high quality, well implemented DAC. Their sound well outperforms their asking price, making them a tremendous value from a pure quality of sound perspective. They have class-leading treble execution and a terrific timbre using the head full-range air motion transformer electrodynamic transducer. I hope you enjoyed this video presentation of my experiences with a headphone, and the information I shared helps you determine if they might be a good fit for you. If you're in the greater Los Angeles region or just looking to make a trip to hear the Head or other incredible headphones, the Source Audio Video Design Group showroom and headphone bar have one of the largest selections of audio enthusiast headphones to listen to in the country. In the description below, I will link to the Source Audio Video Design Group's website and more info on the headphone and other audio gear discussed during this video. What do you think of the headphone? Let us know in the comments below and show your support today by smashing the like button for us and subscribing for more new upcoming content. Until next time, friends, always remember, let the music be your guide.